Hi, my name is Noshed. Some of you guys know me as Shubham. Spurs video podcast. I'm going to talk about the outcome against Lazio, a team that we share a lot of history with, most notably Paul. Interesting thing, that particular era in 1992, I think it was, when he sold, obviously because he had that horrific injury. When Anna Sugar brought into us, one of the preconditions was him to sell into us. We had to sell one of our key assets, and that was Paul Gascoigne. At the time, it was $8.5 million. Now it's obviously it went down to $5.5 million because of the injury. And it was interesting because Sergio Progadeez, who was the Lazio president, he made a huge amount of investment into the club and brought tons of players in, not just Gaza, Riedler, Doll, and then going 4 forward like Christian Vieri, Hernan Crespo, Pavel Nedved. And obviously, it didn't work out in the end. They won the league title. They lost by about a point, I think it was, to Milan for 1 year. And they eventually did win the title, but obviously that kind of thing went over. It came off the reins because when you are a benefactor endorsed club and your benefactor runs into trouble, as unfortunately he did, then it can be kind of worrisome. So just a word of warning to Chelsea and Man City. Not that I wish them and their owners anything bad at all. Fingers crossed. Again, wink. Anyhow, interesting thing. Obviously, we won on Sunday, and I think why we'll set up will be Hugo Lloris. I'd love to see how his kicking is. The two Carls. The thing that I didn't like about Carl Norton anyway, Carl Walker defending wasn't that great either, but we attacked a lot on our right hand side, on our left flank, or on the right hand side, however you want to call it, from their side. And Carl Norton wasn't that much protection from the likes of Bale, because Bale's roaming, and that's the thing we do. When midfielders swap positions, offensively they are swapping positions, and they're very familiar. I have to swap position to get forward, but they have to remember their duties defensively, and I think that's the thing. Hopefully, AVB will put to impress upon them, because the fullbacks need covering. Just saying the fullback needs to support the midfielders. The midfielders need to support the fullbacks as well. And if ideally that's not a bad thing. If you measure 4-3-3, anyone coming forward, well, he has to be able to go through that, attacking, forward left, then the attacking midfield or the midfield left, and then the left back. So you've got 3 lines there. And if not, then hopefully he'll drop. There'll be a midfielder there. So if say Sigurdsson had rotated with Dembele, he'd be acting as a shield. But that wasn't happening a lot. But hopefully over time, it's a work in progress, and hopefully it will happen. I do believe that the system is working, and the thing I'm liking for is that if, say, this team, I think it'll be, Dawson and Walker in the centre as centre back pairing, midfield 3 of Sandro, Carroll, and possibly Pritchard. I'm not sure if he's eligible or not. Addy, Clint, and Andres Townsend up front. If they see this team, which isn't our first team, goes to what I'm assuming is a much tougher tie in Lazio. I don't know how they treat the competition, but I'm assuming if they treat it really seriously, on paper there'll be a much more tougher tie than, say, Reading. And if we beat them using the system, I think that pays kudos to the system. No system is 100% perfect, as Chelsea found, as Barcelona found out, as Bayern Munich found out. No system is 100% foolproof, and you have to be able to adapt and have a plan B. But if the system works with a team that isn't as on paper as isn't your Premier League side, that reinforces the belief. Wait a minute, the system does work, and that reinforces their belief in their minds, and they think, well, shit, if they can make this work against Lazio, we best make this work against QPR. Others will be out, and we'll play Man United. So I like that. Hopefully, if we play well and we do well, I'm not sure if we will win or not, because I think Lazio are a very good side. They're fourth in they finished above Inter. That says a lot really for me. In Serie A, they're a very, very good side. If we can beat them at home, and our fans can avoid the fascists. So Debs and Mick, if you're going out, I think you're going out there. Hope you have a safe journey. But if we can do that, then great. I mean, the reason I'm saying Paganotti, for those Spurs fans who became Spurs fans in like the mid 2000s. I'm talking about my mate Kevin G, who's a New York Spurs fan. You don't believe how bad it was the Sugar era. I mean, it was terrible. We had some good notes like Klinsmann and Teddy Sheringham, some good notes. But as soon as Teddy Sheringham left in like '97 for about 7-8 years, oh man, it was the most painful fucking experience of my life being a Spurs fan. But I'll give credit to Anna Sugar. I mean, he did spend money on guys like Rebrov, and they did bring his checkbook out, but it was just uninspired. Oh god, one of the hardest times to be a Spurs fan. I'll tell you this right here and now. until Enoch took over, and even in then Enoch did struggle first few years of the Glenda era, and that horrible season where I think we managed to lose 4-0 at home to Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday or something. It was fucking terrible. But yeah, now I think we have they've steadied the ship, and I think if you look at the contrast, you've got some that's what happens when you have like a very the contrast in owners. You one that spent loads of money, one that spent very little of his own money into the club. But don't get me wrong, Alan Sugar did put money into the club. Very different results. And I just think that's an interesting history between our two clubs. The reason I'm thinking Carl Walker and Carl Norton should be playing purely because Carl Norton especially, I think Benny's got into a comfort zone, and he's out for a month. It can't sort of play as many games as possible. If he manages to position his own, Benny's not an automatic first choice. Obviously we missed Benny's overlap, and Bale did miss that, and I don't think he was as involved. And I still don't think Carl Walker and Aaron have got that understanding yet to say that him and Charlie had. But I think given time, they will develop that, especially in this 4-3-3. And I just want to see how it works, really, because obviously you've got someone like Dempsey who isn't as quick. Say Dempsey got on one side and Townsend on the other, actually on their natural footing. Then we just see how those two interact, and then hopefully, I'm assuming Lennon will be watching the game and say, oh, that's how they do it. I get a better understanding of it now. So I think it's important, and they're both quite young, and I think they're both really solid athletes, and they can go through brick walls. They're Yorkshire lads, and the reason I'm talking about this system and this philosophy so much is that those of you who may not know, I'm a huge fan of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I study it on a blue belt, and one of the things that has been really put forward is that it's a system, it's the philosophy, it's the ideas behind it that makes it so effective, rather than the actual person carrying it out. And the reason that he would prove that, he would take, in the early days, they take like purple belts, so it goes white, blue, purple, brown, black, and they would put them against, say, very good kickboxers, black belt champions, these guys would go out to fight. And because they could play into their world of ground fighting, they'd be tapped out. And it was the actual system rather than the actual person practicing the system. And I think I like what he's doing. I can see his vision that players lose form, players just injury form. You lose players because they get sold on. And if you have a system that really works, then a player can come in, and if they fit into that system, now the system have to be able to adapt. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu isn't invincible, as we found out, 4 or 5 years later. Joe Moreira and Valedishma didn't win their bouts, so it wasn't invincible. It can be neutralised. It has to adapt, and systems have to be evolved. And there has to be a plan B. And what we call in martial arts is like adhere to the nucleus, liberation of the nucleus, return to the nucleus. So it's not a bad idea. Don't throw the baby out of the bathwater. But sometimes it's good to go away. With balance. Those are playing short passes like I don't know. Like tiki-taka all the time. Sometimes it's not bad just to hoof it up long ball. As we saw for Everton last night, they hoofed it up. They got the equaliser. Or playing on the flanks and just putting a cross in the box. Might not be easy, aesthetic on the eye, but it's effective. And sometimes you need to mix it up. So I'm hoping that if we play his philosophy and we get that balance right, then I think we can win. And I think it's a positive, long-term seed to the future. I'm hoping that Addy, he'll get his match fitness, because if he has to start, even all the substitute games, if you're starting, that shows the manager, look, just go out there and start running, and then I think you can do a match fitness, you have to play at least 60 minutes to gain that match fitness to bring into the next game so you can be match fit. And hopefully, like I said, it shows him what you can do. Glenn Dempsey again needs to start. Andros Townsend again. I think the Europa will be very good, and hopefully, like you guys like Tom Carroll showed what he did last season. Hopefully, he can do very well in the Europa, even get into the Premier League side. Maybe you never know, and maybe gets a loan out to another Premier League side. Alex Pritchard, maybe not to another Premier League, but to say a Championship side, and this is your chance to shine. I think if we play, I was at that, we should play the 7 substitutes plus 4 kids. Now I'm thinking, as long as say Walker and Norton stay injury free, I'd say play the 7 substitutes plus Walker and Norton plus 2 kids, and that way you get to see these kids how they really perform, and then obviously you can bring the kids on the substitutes. And that's it really. I'm going to give a shout out to some new guys, the Progadeez and Tozzza, who's Tozzza's been a long-term subscriber, but recently commenting on my videos, and the Progadeez is a Palace fan but likes Spurs, so, and hopefully, like I said, you can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Facebook, inbox me if you want to find me on Facebook, Twitter, W4 The Real Shabon. and I love doing these videos. I'm surprised anyone even I'm surprised that people take the time to watch them, and I'm even more surprised if you actually like them and will comment on them. I interact with you guys, as you know, and I'm really proud that you like YouTubes and I do it. So yeah, give a bit of shout out to Spurs Forum.co.uk. Yeah, check them out. It's a great site. That's my main site. I always generally post on. And yeah, hopefully here's to the Europa. Hopefully we'll win. I'm hoping for a 1-0. Hoping, but oh, I might as well be in this way. But hopefully we'll get a 1-0 win, and yeah, hopefully we can get them in. I want to see Hugo Lloris kicking. I know Super Spurs has really rated him. He says like he's as good as Neuer and Casillas and Buffon. And I'm hoping, if he does a great performance, then Bradford think, I best be doing my bit as well. Because I'd rather him get that chance against, say, someone like, if he plays really well, so well, in fact, that he doesn't make lots of it. He does like loads of kicking and just when he needs to pass back, there's a good 8-yard pass or something to Townsend or Dempsey, and they put an assist in and bang, that he scores. That's value right there, and they'll probably put him in. And I'd rather see him being put on against QPR than say against Man United. I think we're playing them at Old Trafford, so yeah, I'd rather that. If Hugo Lloris isn't going to get his feet wet, I'd rather be against QPR at home than say Man United. Anyway, kind of gone over my time, so yeah, very grateful that you stayed at that time. Please click on the ad links if they should decide to appear. Hopefully Google will let them, and yeah, all aboard SS Lazio. Come on, you Spurs! Come on, you Spurs!